Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Jarvis Scott with What's Happening in Birmingham. Today I have the honor and pleasure of being with Dr. Adrienne Starks of Stream Innovations Incorporated. Dr. Starks, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Great. Dr. Starks has a great nonprofit here in Birmingham that's doing great things for our young people. And I want to bring her on today to talk a little bit more about it and just a great story how she started it. But let me first start off by saying this is the first scientist we have ever had on our podcast so far. Hopefully it lasts, but the first one.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Starks, just tell people the great story behind your organization.
Sure.
I love the acronym too. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I started Stream Innovations, which stands for Science, Technology, Reading, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. We started in 2015, so we're getting ready to come up on 5 years. What we do is provide hands-on programming to students within communities. We've served a little bit over 12 communities within the last 4 years. And we provide hands-on opportunities with partnerships with their local library as well as rec center. So we have been doing programming for students between 3rd through 6th grade. And we've covered coding and tech, we've covered plants and agriculture, how the human body works, engineering, a lot of different topics that have very cool and fun activities associated with it. So in addition to that, those two programs are for students between 3rd through 6th grade. And we also have a computer coding boot camp. So some people have heard of us through the computer coding boot camp. So that is a summer experience, 6 weeks, where students apply to attend. They have to do an application and 4 essays. From that, we select students to participate, and they have 6 weeks to do. This past year, we added an additional tier, but we have 3 tiers. So website design, app development, and computer hardware.
All right. Well, I want you to kind of backtrack because I know your website and her story. Like, I'll tell you all to visit the website. You'll probably see little text on the video. How you came up with this, just your journey.
Sure.
For this.
Sure. So I'm from Fairfield, Alabama, and as a kid, always loved science. So when I was one Christmas, asked my parents if they would get me a microscope for Christmas. So from there, I was just always very interested in finding different activities that I could do with science. Went to the University of Alabama, Birmingham in the summers to do science programs. So I know firsthand that exposure is extremely important for kids to be able to figure out what is the thing that I like, why do I like it, and also being able to nurture that passion. So from there, left Birmingham, went to Alabama A&M, go Bulldogs.
Yes.
Classic coming up.
Yes.
And went there for undergrad and then moved to Maryland, to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, to work on my PhD in biological sciences. So my research there was in quantitative genetics, so looking at age-specific quantitative traits in Drosophila melanogaster. I have to give a plug to Drosophila melanogaster, which are fruit flies. And the purpose of me doing that research was trying to understand how do organisms change with age.
Okay.
So does your immune response change? Does reproduction change? Does energy storage change? And does that also connect to the lifespan of an organism? So one of the easiest organisms that we could use would be Drosophila. So from there, I was able to get a postdoc at the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Freeman Rabowski, who is the president at UMBC, he strongly suggested that I consider health disparities. And at the time, I wasn't sure what it was, but I was not going to ask him, so I knew to do the research and decided to do cancer disparities. So I was at the National Cancer Institute looking at breast and prostate cancer, understanding how stress impacts cancer progression, not necessarily initiation, but how stress causes higher mortality rates for African Americans than European Americans. So that was the work that I did before coming back to Birmingham. And one of the things that I noticed while I was at NIH was that I was a triple minority, meaning an American scientist, an African American scientist, and a woman scientist. And that can be very isolating as well as lonely. So there were scientists from other countries where they were able to speak their first language and talk about science. So I never made the assumption that people were talking about me. My thing was there was science being discussed that I wasn't naturally a part of. So that, coupled with kind of the changing in the community from back home in Fairfield, was not a fan of the press that was coming out of the city, which is not unique to Fairfield. It happens in a lot of cities across the country, but Fairfield is where I'm from.
All right.
So made the decision to come back for a couple months and start a nonprofit. For anyone that starts nonprofits, you know that makes no sense. Makes no sense to go unless you have millions of dollars, which I didn't have at the time. Don't have right now. But decided to stay. So from there, made the decision, okay, I know how important early exploration is in order to identify your passion.
Okay.
So made the decision to start a nonprofit that focuses on that. We've heard of the acronym STEM for a few decades, so science, technology, engineering, and math. At that time, STEAM was coming into the picture, so they were incorporating arts to that as well. So over the course of us trying to figure out what we would call the organization, I ran into students at the library or in different places that were beautifully gifted but didn't know what to do with their gift. Whether a student had an art portfolio where they were doing drawings, and I would ask, well, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to do animation or something of that nature? And one of the gentlemen that I was talking to, he was like, well, I don't know, I just like to draw. Met a few young women that we were able to support to go to the UAB Honors College writing program over the summer. They had no idea what they were getting into, but they liked to write. So they had an opportunity to write different types of prose, to write short stories and things of that nature. And I asked them at the end, was this beneficial? And they said this was perfect because they would write at home, but they didn't know what they could do with it. And for us, the reading and the arts was pivotal. So we decided to do STREAM innovations. So that's kind of our story.
All right. And I love with all the different programs. You got the coding boot camp, the STREAM Saturdays, and the checkout STEAM.
Check out STREAM, yes.
And STEAM STREAM in the community. So these are the 4 components for the most part?
These are the 4 public components. We also have been doing after-school programming in Fairfield as well. So that is closed to students that attend those schools.
All right. So what has been like the success stories so far?
The success stories have been many. They also have shifted me as a human because I had this idea for this organization, and we're putting all these different parts together for, what programs we should have, what students should be exposed to. I knew it was important. What I never banked on or never considered was how it would impact the students.
Oh, okay.
What it would look like once they went through the exercises or the things that we had put together. So for the coding boot camp, our first year was in 2017 for that program. And my plan was to simply do 1 tier, meaning we would only do web design, and then thank you for coming. We'll have a new course, a new group of kids the next year. And in the middle of the coding boot camp, the students, we had 10 students, 5 boys, 5 girls, which is awesome. And some of the students said, one in particular said, so what are you going to do with us next year?
Oh.
I was like, I didn't plan on it next year. So went back to the board. I have a fabulous board. And I said, well, they want us to do something else. What can we do? So one of my board members, Jeff Warford, we got together and thought through what's in the industry around tech that if students had early exposure to, they could be a part of the community, they can innovate in those spaces. And many kids across the country are getting early exposure. So what can we do to bring this to students in our program? So we decided to do the app development. We also incorporated artificial intelligence. So they had an opportunity to learn coding languages. So let me go back a little bit. So for the coding bootcamp, the first tier, web design, they learned 4 coding languages. Four.
Wow.
Four. HTML, CSS, jQuery, and JavaScript.
Wow.
They are responsible for coming up with a website based on a business that they want to have in the future.
Okay.
And they have to do a presentation. So we also do workshops in leadership development, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. And at the end, for the first tier, we give them a laptop to take home.
Oh, cool.
So I felt it was a disservice for us to teach them all of these coding languages, knowing that many of them did not have computers in their home, or they didn't have a personal computer.
All right.
So we thought it was necessary to give them a laptop, which works with going into tier 2, because at this point we don't have to provide laptops or any type of computing device for them to be able to use. So tier 2, they would bring back their laptops. Tier 3 was a little different. So this year. We had some of the students that had some issues with their laptops. So students were able to learn how to repair desktops and laptops. They were looking at networking, as well as an array of different things that would connect them to the CompTIA A+ certification. So we want them to know what the options are once you have this skill, even if you don't want to go into computer science. So we have some students that wanted to be photographers, or they wanted to be vets or attorneys or nurses, and I never tell them don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I say take this skill set with you to be able to innovate in whatever the space that you want to be in. So those were some of the success stories from the coding bootcamp, from Stream Saturdays and Checkout Stream. Those programs are within communities. So if a community has a library or a rec center, we bring our programs to those facilities because they're public. And the success stories from there make me cry.
All right.
And that's because parents will say to me, my child, they hated science. Or the way science was explained to them, it was difficult for them to understand. Or everything that we do, we give a little bit of an explanation, but we allow everything to be hands-on. So even students that you wouldn't think, based upon whatever judgment we have, they are involved, they're engaged. And our metric for how well we're doing with them is if they don't want to stop. So usually on Saturdays, we're kind of pushing them out. They're asking their parents, can I stay a little bit longer? And we're like, no. So the Saturday program is from 9:30 to 1. So that program starts off where we provide breakfast. They also do yoga and meditation that morning.
Oh, wow.
And then they have 2 hours to do a round robin of different activities around a topic. We then give them a box lunch to take home, and then that's the end. That's our only program right now that has a fee. So that one was $50 a month. We were able to receive a grant from UAB's CHIA Award.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. The Community Health Innovation Award. So we were able to reduce that fee to $10, where parents were able to have their child scholarshiped in. We never asked for any personal information. For that application, we wanted you to tell us, why is your kid awesome?
Wow.
That's it. So from those programs, I've had a number of parents to send me pictures of their children either on their laptop or pictures of their children doing an activity from our Stream Saturday or Checkout Stream program. I've had students to continue to reach out to me and say, hey, how's it going? Can't wait to come back next year. Right. So, I'm excited to see what they will be able to do in the future. And it has been a blessing and an honor to work with them because the students around this city are phenomenal. And many times they need an outlet, they need adults like myself and others to be willing to come in and work with them and show them why you think science is cool, why you think technology or reading or engineering or arts is cool, because you started off with a passion for that as an adult. It started from somewhere. And I think it's our responsibility to make sure that students in this day and age are able to fall in love with that thing so that when they go to college, they're not undecided. When they go to college, they're actually trying to study for the thing that they love.
And one thing I like about it is that they're getting hands-on experience while they're in high school, not that they get to college, and they're like, oh, I don't like this, I don't want to try it. So that's one thing I really definitely love about it. Do you think that if it wasn't for your program, do you think they've ever been exposed to any of this?
I hope they would, but to the level that we provide exposure, probably not.
Oh, wow.
Unless some other organization makes the decision to do this work. I am fortunate to do this work, and I know that what we do is unique in comparison to other programs. I don't think we should be the only organization doing this work. We can't service every child in Jefferson County or in Alabama. So it's very important for more organizations to provide programming for students because we need them to be engaged in order to solve problems in our communities. So our programs are mostly found in underrepresented and underserved communities intentionally because oftentimes programs are not targeting those communities. And also we bring our programs to the library and to the rec center because in many cities transportation is an issue. So that's one of the reasons that we do it that way.
All right, so I know some of you all are watching, especially if a parent, and the $1 million question you're probably asking, how can I get my child to sign up for this program?
Yes. So we just ended programming for 2019 in September. But if you go to our website, streaminnovations.org, sign up to be on the mailing list, and we'll have an opportunity to share with parents and anyone that's interested when we open up our programs again. For 2020, we're looking for additional communities that would like for us to come to their community. So they could go to the website, we have a contact us page, and they could put in information and someone from our team will be able to contact them.
All right, and let me ask you another $1 million question.
Okay.
How, you heard about this great program, but you all know we need money. So how can someone donate to this great organization?
There are a number of ways that you can donate. You can go to the website and there's a donate button at the top as well as a volunteer button. Both are very important. Where there are people, we've had a number of people to donate and volunteer or volunteer. And we are looking to have more donors that are monthly donors to be able to support us year long. But we appreciate whatever gift you're able to give that will allow us to continue our programs. Donations, for the most part, the first 3 years, a lot of our programming was funded through individual donors. And for that, I am extremely appreciative because people don't have to give you their money. And with that, they're also entrusting us to be able to use those funds to support students. So for our coding boot camp, for instance, students did not pay for that. They were with us for 6 weeks. We had breakfast and lunch. We fed them. We also had field trips to tech companies on Fridays. So we didn't, carpool to those places. We had a chartered bus to be able to take us there. We've gone as far as Huntsville to Hudson Alpha to do field trips. Because my thing is, if we can allow students to see what's out there and we can push them and challenge them to create the things that we need in order to improve our community, they will do it. It's just natural. So for our coding boot camp, students have not paid for that. Parents have not paid for that. They didn't pay for laptops. We gave them a number of different things because we want them to continue to learn, to continue to strive. For the Checkout Stream program that's held at the public library, it's an hour program. And after they do the activity, we give them stream swag.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that is microscopes, that's Legos, that's a number of different things because we want them to continue to be engaged even after they're working with us. And for Stream Saturdays, we do breakfast and we give them lunch, and they also get stream swag as well. So we give a lot of stuff away because for me, if it's possible for us to connect with the next scientist that's in North Birmingham or that's in West End or Inslee or Fairfield, and because of a microscope that we gave them is what really turned them on to science, it's worth it for sure. Especially if that scientist becomes the next person that can cure cancer.
Oh, wow.
But we don't know. So my thing is, we have a lot of beautifully gifted students in our communities that don't get exposure, that don't get opportunities. And it's not because they don't have the talent, it's because they don't have the opportunity.
Oh, wow.
And what we intend to do is to provide opportunities to support families. You have a number of parents that will call me and say, well, my child is so smart, I don't know what to do. Help me out. And this is one way that we can help you out. We can point you into the direction of what they just naturally gravitate towards and be able to support parents in that way as well.
So how can they get in contact with you?
Sure. So we have a number of different ways that you can contact us. The first is always the website, so streaminnovations.org. We are on social media, all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. You would go to streaminnovations.org. We're also on Twitter, Stream Innovate, and in all of those spaces you can message us and contact us.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you
today.
for the invitation. It's
Adrienne.
been a while.
Yes. I got paused for a moment because I had to soak in all the information you was giving me. But this is a very great, worthwhile organization. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I've heard about it.
Thank you.
This lady is very busy. Very busy. Like she said, through about a year of us do the interview. We finally got, but I really wanted to bring her on because, one of my things behind what's happening in Birmingham is to highlight people and organizations that's making things happen in our city, and she is definitely one of those organizations.
Thank you.
So, Adrienne, let me say, Dr. Starks.
Thank you.
Let's say Dr. Starks, thank you for coming on today. For more videos, please check out my website, what'shappeningbirmingham.com, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.